It was an afternoon in March. A security camera captures the end of a Houston police pursuit. Burglar Chad Holly was trying to make a run for it. He's clipped by a police car. On the ground, he clearly puts his arms out in the surrender pose, then folds his arms behind his head before police move in. But look what happens next. The first officer stomps on his head. He's repeatedly kicked. We count 4 officers doing the kicking. Then one officer lands 5 separate kicks. It looks like the kicks are landing on Holly's head. You'll see more kicks. Holly has been on the ground, cops on top of him, all around him, for about 20 seconds. And then another police officer lands 5 heavy punches. The officer who did the kicking in the beginning does it again, this time from behind. Then he stomps on the back of Holly's legs. Then just before Holly is picked up to be taken to a patrol car, there's another lick.
The first showing of the video will be in a courtroom, sir.
But now we're making the video public, months after the DA, the police chief, and the mayor refuse to let you see it.
I got the tape legally, so sit back and watch your television tonight like everybody else in this city, because we're all going to see what's going on.
Community activist Quadell X had been sued by one of the cops in the Holly case. A judge gave him the right to get the tape, and he gave it to us. Just minutes after we made our copy, the federal judge who had blocked release of this video was on the phone trying to stop its release. It was too late.
Absolutely, it's a powerful tape, and it's a shameful tape because you see police officers out there at the scene behaving themselves like criminals, not law enforcement officers who respect and honor their duty to the badge. And I'm telling you, when the people in the hood see it, they're going to be angry also, and now it's time that it come out.
4 Houston police officers were indicted for what you've just seen on video, but on misdemeanor charges of official oppression, not assault.
I want to know how in the hell did they do what they did to that boy on that videotape, and they only got charged with official oppression?
ايه الثقة مش فاهمة يعني فقط يعني لا ايوه هو بس ماشي ازاي ده اللي ماشي ده يقول ما تضربش قال له ما تضربش الله ايه ده
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Monday, February 7th, 2011, and I'm Darko. Welcome everyone to Global Government News. This is a normal news bulletin. I have plenty of news to get to. Much of it will be pertaining to overseas unrest, political unrest, and police state, and some political news as well. Please check out my website if you haven't already, www.ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. You have 2 days left to go in there and vote on this little poll here. The recent political upheaval in the Middle East will most likely result in, and the majority of people right now at 47% are saying, a negative outcome for most people in the region and whatever the powers that be desire. We're going to keep moving here. First article up is Houston black leaders laud release of police video. And it says prosecutors and Houston Mayor Annise Parker on Thursday criticized a community activist release of a surveillance video that appears to show 4 former city police officers kicking and stomping a black teenage burglary suspect last year, saying it could jeopardize the case against the officers. And this is what we just pretty much just watched. It said the leaders in Houston's black community applauded the release of what they called the appalling and outrageous actions of rogue officers. And yeah, that tape, that video really, man, it really gets me. And I'm sure it gets a lot of you guys too, man. It just gets you worked up and I guess angry. And I guess the only thing that you can do is just You already know that most cops are scum, and most cops are political law enforcement. They enforce political law. They're not peace officers, so most of them are Nazis. You just have to realize that. So the best thing that you can do is once you come to that realization is just warn other people. Just talk about it and be like, I'm not particularly fond of police officers. They're not out to protect us. They don't protect our property. They don't protect my life. And the only one that can do that is me. That's pretty much all you have to do, because in the end, the police are not going to be there for you if the, quote, shit hits the fan. It's only going to be you. And it says, police beat Sudanese at short-lived protest, says witnesses. Police beat and tear-gassed students protesting in Sudan's center state, the latest in the series of short-lived demonstrations, partly inspired by uprisings in Tunisia and Egypt. And we go to here, America's Super Bowl police state. Here we go. ICE, robots, choppers, drones, fighters, bomb dogs, TSA screening, full pat-downs. And it says, I threw in there drones, because I don't think there's drones, but Texas is known. They are one of the states that I know for a fact that are using drones. I'm not sure which department it is, Dallas, Houston, or what, but they're one of those municipalities owns a drone, a police surveillance drone, and they're spying on their citizens. They're not spying according to the local officials. They're surveilling them. So a CBS video explains the Super Bowl security by way of demonstration. With the speed and precision, an airborne SWAT team closes in on twin targets, a suspicious airplane and car. Working side by side, federal agents and Miami-Dade police finished the takedown of a U.S. civilian. Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano says there is no credible threat against the Super Bowl, but it's the obvious target, and the recent attempted bombing of Northwest Flight 253 is a warning that Al-Qaeda is intent on hitting the U.S., CBS News says. And of course, you had now Napolitano coming out with the rhetoric program saying, if you see something, say something. And that program she's been touting for the past 6 months to a year, going around in various cities and states, telling local cities and states to adapt that policy. Basically, a nice little commissar program, and so they were just kind of promoting it at the Super Bowl. But Secretary Napolitano points out that the greatest threat is posed by so-called lone wolves. Oh, maybe that's me. Maybe I'm a lone wolf, an individual carrying a small concealed bomb. Remember Black Sunday? No. When they say lone wolves, man, they're talking about anybody that's got a microphone or a voice and half a brain. That's a lone wolf. It doesn't mean you're carrying a bomb. I mean, most of these terrorist attacks are phony patsies, right? Like the Christmas Day bomber was working for intelligence agencies, and the one in the Oregon, the Christmas bomber, Christmas tree bomber. I like how they keep picking Christmas up. They're trying to scare the shit out of people when it comes to Christmas now, but that's a side story. The Oregon Christmas tree bomber, he was actually groomed by FBI basically for months, your tax dollars, to build him up and then bust him. You think he was a college student. This video has a heading, Super Bowl fans attending Sunday's game to be treated to airport-like security. It doesn't show the heavy artillery, but it explains that you will empty your pockets, go through your metal detectors, and then be searched by hand. Super Bowl security, a quote, official addresses any concerns. Quote, a pat-down, a limited pat-down that can go to a full pat-down will be utilized. If folks have an issue with that, they should not come to the game. So see, that's how it's coming. That's how it is, folks. Don't travel. Don't go to the airports. Don't go to the railways. Don't go to the stupid Super Bowl, and just protest it, because you know what? The minute you walk into that airport, you're basically consenting to a search. So just don't fly. Don't go there. I don't know what to say, but that's the solution. So if you don't want to get groped, or if you don't want to get low doses of radiation or have your privacy invaded, well then, go right ahead. Over 20,000 take to the streets in Yemen's Day of Rage. The people want regime change. Protesters shout as they gathered outside Sana University. No to corruption, no to dictatorship. Yemen president heeds lessons of Tunisia and Egypt, says it is a trend. Yemen's president Ali Saleh says he won't extend his presidency beyond his current term. That's what Mubarak is saying. Tunisia's former ruling party shut down the Constitutional Democratic Rally Party, ousted Tunisian President Ben Ali. and he was put out of operation on Sunday by the interim unity government. The party's offices will remain closed until the Justice Department has ruled whether or not the RCD will be banned. 4 dead in fresh Tunisia unrest. This is from February 6th. 4 people died in clashes between protesters and police in the northwestern Tunisian town of Kef, union activists and witnesses said. And then we have El Baradi will not run for president. And then we have U.S. plan replacing Mubarak with torture-linked CIA point man. And then you can check out that that article. The links will be posted. And we're going to keep moving here. Protesters call for Mubarak to step down. And there was recent news that he was going to be making an address to the people as far as him not running. So he said he wasn't going to run. He didn't say he was going to step down. He just said he wasn't going to run again, and that his son would not be taking over the reins. So that's what we know right now. Basically, what they're opening up for is, here we go. Egypt police kill protester in Alexandria. And then UN Human Rights Chief 300 reported dead in Egypt's protests. So Hosni Mubarak family stash millions. Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak and his family may be forced to exile before this year out, but it will be exile padded by $40 billion, to $70 billion in cash, mostly scammed from public resources, according to Middle East experts. And that's right. And in Tunisia, also, the president and the leader of that country had basically ran off with millions of dollars worth of gold. So all of these guys are basically puppets for the West. And it's a transitioning period, and the powers that be, I believe, are behind it. Mubarak family fortune could reach $70 billion, says experts. So see, he's got a little change in his pocket. Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood begins dialogue with government. So this is what I was saying. This is what it's opening up to. Muslim Brotherhood and a military dictatorship. And then we have here, Egypt rejects dictates from Western countries. Egyptian government rejects any outside dictates, especially from Western countries. Foreign Minister Ahmed Guide told reporters on Sunday, which is a bunch of crap, because what? They're receiving a bunch of aid from the U.S. The U.S. is dangling millions, if not billions of dollars in front of them, saying, here, Egypt, you better support Mubarak, because that's our man, and that's why he's Israel's man too, and you better leave him in there, otherwise we're going to pull your funding. That's how they do with everything. That's how the federal government is still in power over us in each state, right? Because before, each state used to be, in the United States I'm referring to, used to be like a country, their own sovereign nation, and then we gave it all up and we handed that power over to the federal government that centralized all of it and basically took away all the power that the states had. But the point that I'm trying to make is it's a similar tactic that is used by the federal government in order to basically enslave the citizens from each state, and is to give them money, federal grants, subsidies and whatnot. Unemployment benefits, there's a lot of money that goes from the federal government to the states, and then in return, the states have to do whatever the federal government says. Who is the real opposition in Egypt? Says a revolution in Egypt erupted like all revolutions do, from the bottom up. It was unemployment and high food prices that propelled working and poor people into action. Now the media reports that the opposition in Egypt is a group of well-to-do folks who have very little in common with the poor of Egypt. This top-down takeover of the revolution is being engineered with the support of the U.S. and European nations, the same allies of the dictatorship that lasted 3 decades. If this elite group of Egyptians manage to gain power, they'll soon find themselves confronted with the real opposition of Egypt, the overwhelming majority of working and poor people. So you can check that out, and it goes into further detail. And then we have this article down here: Egypt, the U.S., and the Israel lobby minimally explored in all the coverage of the momentous Egyptian uprisings taking place over the last 10 days of the Israeli connections. A central and critical reality is that it is U.S. tax money that has propped up Hosni Mubarak's despotic regime over the past 30 years, and that this money has flowed from the beginning largely on behalf of Israel. So it says Israel is generally a significant factor in events in the Middle East, and to understand ongoing happenings, it is important to understand the historic and current Israeli connection. So we'll finish up with this quote here, and then we'll move on to part 2. The violent creation, perpetuation, expansion of a state based on ethnic expulsion of the majority of inhabitants has been central to Middle East dynamics ever since Israel was created by European and American Zionists in 1948 as a self-identified, quote, Jewish. So you can join us in part 2 of this News Bulletin for February 7th, 2011. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.